So, welcome to this little introduction to the Spiritual Hypnosis and NLP course, together with Anaconda. He will be our trainer and lecturer and wise person in this course and this training, actually, because we have three different levels and it's going to be a deep dive into spiritual hypnosis, NLP. And today we come together to have a little bits and pieces of information from Anaconda personally about the training. So thank you for joining me today, Anaconda, for being here.
Thank you.
And I'm just going to start right with the first question. So, what is the transformational art of spiritual hypnosis? Like, what is it?
Transformation.
Yeah.
It's a play of words that actually comes from a very famous book by Bandler and Grinder, the the people who first created NLP, neuro linguistic programming. And one of their books is called Transformations, and it's the fundamental foundational book the about hypnosis from the perspective of neurolinguistic programming. So I adopted, so to say, that way of describing because I like it. I think it's really cool. And it combines transformation,
Mm-hmm.
change work, and transformation, which evokes both the fact that we live in trance, that we are actually normally asleep in a sense. So we are not very conscious. As humans, lots of our life is run by automatic pilot kind of uh, programs that are embedded in our subconscious or our unconscious and tend to run our life in somewhat of a mechanical way. And as Carl Jung used to say, make your unconscious conscious. Otherwise, it will run your life and you will call it destiny. So that's the idea. The art of transformation means mastering or at least becoming acquainted with the fundamental dynamics and workings of our mind so that we can more and more become a creator of our life and less just actors of someone else's scripts. And this someone else may be our parents or society or corporations that want to make us into very good consumers and whatnot. So it's about self-mastery, basically. It's kind of in line with the whole vision of the Harmonic Circle
Mm-hmm.
and the Harmonic Circle Academy, which, as you know, is around awakening and becoming a master of one's life.
Mm-hmm. There's this question that people might come to is what is the difference between spiritual hypnosis and hypnosis? Maybe you can address
Yeah,
that.
sure. It's a good question. So, well, the main difference is the framework, the purpose, the level of consciousness within which the tools are delivered and also their purposing. That is, hypnosis simply means, and it's been something that's very popular, very well known now, and it's used in many different areas from, let's say, the knowledge of the hypnotic dynamics are used in marketing, but in a positive way, hypnosis is used therapeutically. In some circles, it's used as an educational tool, like for instance, in super learning
Mm-hmm.
techniques, like as we also propose in our courses to super learn languages to speed up the learning process by using these natural mechanisms that happen.
Mm-hmm.
So the word spiritual really evokes many different concepts and ideas in different people. Some people assimilate the word spiritual to something religious,
Mm-hmm.
which is not the way we intend the word spiritual. By spiritual, we like to adopt the interpretation of this word that is proposed by the founder of Damanhur, Falco Tarasaco. His definition of spiritual is giving meaning to things, that is imparting or um, tapping into the fundamental ontological sense of being. That is, who are we? Where do we come from? Where
Hmm.
are we going? Why are we born? Why do we die? And does reincarnation exist or not? Or what is the fundamental meaning of life? Is it or is it not evolution? And if it is some sort of evolution, if this planet is some kind of a school for our souls,
Hmm.
well, then what are the classes? What are the lessons? How do we progress? So spiritual hypnosis is about using these powerful tools of self-knowledge and also self-management in a way as tools for one's personal conscious evolution and that of others who are also interested in this path.
Hmm.
So we don't just study how to create trance and then use the state of trance to perform better in sports or to learn faster or to try to um, improve a person's well-being, but we actually use these tools to uncover our deeper knowing and our access to our what we call our greater soul or our higher self, so as to be able to live more consciously as souls having a human experience and
Yeah.
not vice versa, and make this not in just to a slogan, just to a cool pitch, but actually a real experience. Because when through hypnosis, we can literally re-experience the purpose, the meaning which we gave to the act of incarnation, the choice of incarnation, then we go back into understanding why are we here.
Hmm.
It completely changes our experience of being human, and everything takes meaning and becomes more tolerable, more meaningful, even as we know, for example, pain is not optional in this life because it's part of the duality of
Yeah.
existence. But suffering is, in a sense, optional because suffering depends on the meaning we give subconsciously or not to the experience, the painful experience.
Hmm.
So when even something painful or uncomfortable is has meaning, it becomes much more tolerable, or it can even become a burden of love. It can be something we embrace and we accept because we understand its purpose. So that is the spiritual nature of the way we like to share what we've uh, explored, experienced about hypnosis.
Thank you. That sounds like a deep personal journey, first of all, before
Absolutely.
we direct our gifts and talents and what we acquire in the direction to others, basically. Maybe we can, or you can speak about the arc, the learning arc of, oh,
Yes.
is this something initially that I can immediately use in my, for example, therapeutic practice or coaching practice? Oh, how is it designed basically to, it seems it's a personal journey.
Yeah. Good point. Well, first of all, we are not a therapeutic or medical or clinical school in any way.
Mhm.
So what we teach, we don't teach therapeutic hypnosis or hypnotherapy. We teach hypnosis within a transpersonal approach. That is, it's a tool for self-knowledge, for self-exploration. So basically, it starts as a understanding of oneself. We also teach self-hypnosis for this reason,
Mhm.
because we believe that you cannot impart on others something you haven't first experienced yourself. It doesn't make any sense. But it is not impossible at all that someone who is a therapist, a doctor, a psychologist, a psychotherapist, may want to study with us because they can definitely use the tools that we share, which are meant for personal growth and transformation in the context, in
Mhm.
the environment of their therapeutic work, if they feel they fit by any means. It's up to them. But most people who study with us are more into personal transformation, maybe coaches and holistic healers,
Mhm.
or um, people who are already somewhat embracing the vision that we were mentioning before of a
Sure.
spiritual meaning, that life has a purpose. This purpose is about evolution somehow, however you define it, depending on your culture, your tradition. We tend to move beyond definitions into experience because you can call the sun in many different ways depending on your language, but the warmth and the light is the same. And we aim at the essence rather than on definitions
Mhm.
and cultural boundaries. That's not really where we focus because given that the focus is on the soul and on the heart of being, all humans and even all life from that point of view, we are on the same level. And therefore, that is the main focus. When we have learned the basics for ourselves and experience, then especially the further levels, because the school has three basic steps, three basic levels. The first level is mainly about yourself and learning trance induction also with others, of course, but then the utilization of trance is evolving in levels as the school progresses.
Thank you. That's a beautiful explanation. And it also points exactly to where I wanted to go. These are the three levels that we bring the training into life. It's not one big chunk of information. No, we divided it in three different levels and we'll invite everyone to move gradually from one to two. And then if you want to master it, to three. So maybe you can give a glimpse into level one.
Well, level one is where we basically it's called the level one is called the awakening of the inner navigator. That
Hmm.
means there's a famous saying by Padmasambhava, the founder of Tibetan Buddhism, one of the founders of Tibetan Buddhism, who says, until inner observation isn't awakened, there's no path.
Hmm.
So basically, the path begins by awakening one's own inner navigator, understanding the map, understanding where we're coming from, where we're going, not at a metaphysical level. I mean,
Yeah.
even in daily interactions with
Hmm.
ourselves, thought process, inner communication, because this is a lot of what it's about, internal communication, understanding the alchemy, but also the fundamental physiology of thought process, thought creation, thought forms creation, and so forth. And then how does the transformation phenomenon happen? Both the unconscious mechanical one, and
Hmm.
how can it be deliberate and retuned, refined to our liking, to our direction, and according to our direction. That's where we learn things like, well, the basics. What's the conscious, the subconscious, the superconscious? We learn induction techniques. What is the essence of induction? And what are deepening methods, I'm sorry, then the hypnotic language,
Hmm.
self-hypnosis, and we use a lot of NLP basics in this because we find neuro-linguistic programming to have really mm, brought out the essence of the hypnotic phenomena in an artistic and very efficient way. So we are not interested in exploring every possible way there is on earth to induce trance as much
Hmm.
as what works. We're more focused on the what works rather than, all the different theories around it.
Yeah.
And then we learn about suggestion, visualization, how to rewire habits and behaviors. And then, interestingly, in the first level, we already start working with the concept of the inner child and
Hmm.
the other cast of characters that inhabit our lives.
Hmm.
And so we already go into the personalities, the parts theories, and beyond the theory to actually experiencing it
Experience them.
and
Yeah.
see how parts are actually acting in our lives.
Yeah.
And all this is fundamentally practice, practice, practice,
Practice.
a
Yeah.
little theory. I mean,
Of
maybe
course.
we give a framework, the theory, and then people, because the school works in two ways, let's say. There's our meetings, but then there's the work people do at home,
Hmm.
and we have groups that work together outside of the classes. The course is not really only happening within the lessons. The lessons kind of prime the pump for people to then at home experience in their daily life with themselves and with others, practicing, because the art of transformation is like cooking. You can read recipe books as much as you want, but until you do it, you'll never really master and understand through experience, through sensory experience, what does it actually mean. So
Yeah.
that's the first level, is all these kind of basics. Then in the second level is called the journey of the soul. We called that way the second year or months, depending on the type of school. And this is where we enter the real transpersonal level of the whole game, let's say. And therefore, we start looking into past life regression, and also how alchemical hypnosis, which how does it become actually evolutionary as a tool, and up to meeting your spirit guides and hyper communication, different ways to tap into other dimensional realms of meaning that are within us, but bringing them out. And then also there's the concept of etheric communication, how we can actually um, enter different levels of frequencies and communicating with different time lines within our life and other people's lives. And then, most importantly, the soul's mission. Each person's understanding their own soul's mission and purpose in this lifetime, so that they gain a lot of clarity and about what they want to manifest. The last level is very, very transpersonal, is more, we call it the shamanic and the spiritual frontier. It's more about advanced transpersonal modalities and kind of paranormal explorations. There's just to mention a few, because otherwise these are just names unless you experience them. But there's things like exploring life between lives instead of just past lives, which brings in a whole other level of understanding, the concept of Akashic records, soul retrieval, um, dealing with parasitic energies and energy clearings, and also exploring and enhancing one's, let's say, ESP, subtle inner senses, we call them, those senses that bring out that which is within. And so this is to give a general sense.
Well, afterwards, I'm done in this life. No, it's like it's just like
No,
it's
afterwards, afterwards, it's the beginning of the
yeah,
journey.
it's like a new beginning. Yeah, but it sounds like
It's
a
a new
whole
beginning. It's a
yeah,
new
it
beginning. Yeah.
definitely. It sounds like an incredible deep journey, and definitely it's not a path that
It's
you
it's
walk
not
or
it's not a path of knowledge. It's
yeah,
not something you study like you would acquire information about, I don't know,
yeah.
anything. It's something you need to experience.
And it's a
And
very self-explorative path, right?
definitely, not
Because
everyone reaches the third level. I
oh,
mean, some people, many people do the first level and they feel content.
yeah,
Many also continue into the second. And let's say the third level is more for those who really feel committed to want to walk their life path, and their life path happens to correspond with helping others reach higher levels of consciousness other than just themselves.
yeah,
But some, I mean, I want to underline some people have taken the whole journey with no intention whatsoever to work with others, just as a personal exploration because of its journeying nature. Some people are very much into exploring themselves and they love the methodology and they don't really care to make this their profession or to be working with others. So it can work for different people in different ways. But
yeah.
for sure, it's a journey, it's transformative. And that's what we get as the greatest feedback from our students is that it is truly a transformative. So transformative
Transformative. Exactly.
journey.
The transformational arts of hypnosis,
That's
basically. Yeah, wonderful. So I think we gave a really good overview for the people about the course itself, the training, or actually it's a school, as you put it. It's a journey that takes longer than just a course for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or even 2 months. It's longer than that and it's planned like that. It's intentionally designed
yeah,
for a journey, basically, an endeavor. You set sails and then you reach shore in whatever time it
yeah.
takes for you
In
to explore.
average, the depending on the country, on the time of the year, on the way we organize it, because there's different frameworks, different modalities, but in average, each level takes from a minimum of 4 months to
Yeah,
possibly, depending on the speed, the frequency, the length of the meetings, but it can take just 1 year, can be up to even 6 or even 9 months to
yeah,
complete. And then, so overall, the whole process normally, considering vacation times and things like that, can be minimum 1 year and a half overall, up to 3 years, depending again on the. From
definitely.
my point of view, the slower, the better.
Yeah, I just wanted to say because
Slower, the better.
level one in itself has a lot of density and a lot of things to work with already. And then whenever you feel right, you can transition into level two. And maybe there's 1, 2 years in between, and then you can transition to level three, even there. So
Absolutely.
it's not strictly
It's
structured.
not linear.
Exactly. But if you embark on level one, you're in level one, and all the details about when, how, where, it's all on the website. So you get the details there.
Yeah.
So everything should be clear. If you have questions, just send us an email or via the contact form. We'll happily respond you for whatever needs to be clarified. But one thing I wanted to address, and that's the last question for our little interaction about spiritual hypnosis and NLP. It's basically your background, Anaconda. Like, why should people join this deep, intense training, and what is the beauty and the depth that you bring to the table, and where did you acquire all of this?
Well, I should let others speak for that. But as far as my background, I've been passionate about researching these layers of our being since childhood. To be honest, I remember I used to buy books about hypnosis before I could even understand them. I had this attraction, which now, having worked on my own past lives, I have a sense of why that was
Hmm.
happening. But let's say it's been a passion I've been cultivating for a long, long time. And in this lifetime, when I was a monk, um, I've dedicated about 10 years of my life into deep dive into yoga and meditation and studying the Vedas, which describe rather accurately the whole path of evolution that humans go through. And I was absolutely fascinated by the cosmogony and the whole description of the path of the soul. But then when I discovered hypnosis, I heard about a hypnosis session about past life regressions. I was really like super curious. How do these general principles that we read in the yogic scriptures, how are they actually played out in every single person's life? I
Hmm.
mean, I could have a hands-on exploration of the general principles and also understand better myself. Like, where did I come from? Where did my attractions and my aversions come from in this life? So let's say that past life regression was my entry point into
Hmm.
studying hypnosis. And I was lucky enough to have had some amazing mentors and teachers. Um, and One of my main teachers in hypnosis was Eli Jackson Bear, who was at the time a Buddhist. He was the responsible for the meditation Buddhist meditation center in San Francisco at the time. And I met him in Esalen, which in by itself is a pretty amazing place
Yeah,
for
indeed.
exploring human potential at the time in the 80s. And the way his framework was already to study hypnosis as a tool for liberation.
Hmm.
So I never had a clinical, although we also studied clinical hypnotherapy and all its
Hmm.
applications in a more, let's say, physical or worldly sense, if we
Hmm.
may. But his approach and his framework was to use the knowledge of hypnosis as an additional tool for personal awakening and liberation. And the reason why he also taught, together with hypnosis, he taught the Enneagram of how he calls it character fixation, which from the Sufi vision that he then at the time embraced, he evolved since into more of an Advaita vision. But at the time, he was teaching from a Sufi perspective, and hypnosis combined with the Enneagram provide an extraordinary map and tool for individual awakening and liberation, and also fine-tuning of one's life purpose. So
Hmm.
this is what I started with, and that really fascinated me, and it set me on a journey through several continents. At the time, I was traveling a lot. And basically, I spent 2 years doing hypnosis and regressing everyone I met, anyone who was available, and I would practice. Was really interested to understand where did this person that I have in front of me, what
Yeah.
was their spiritual journey, what were they doing in other lifetimes. And I even met, in that kind of research, I even met some pretty outworldly, literally speaking,
Human
outworldly
beings.
things, because I encounter the extra or intraterrestrial dimension of how our souls are not limited to this planet, but this planet is one of many
Hmm.
places of evolution. And that contributed to open my or deepen my interest in exopolitics, which I had since I was a child as well. A lot of curiosity and understanding are the interactions between beings from other dimensions, other timelines, other planets, with our history, our human history on this planet, which is actually very, very short
Yeah,
compared to,
indeed.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what triggered my passion. And then because I was also studying and practicing yoga and teaching yoga and meditation, all these things naturally integrated. And the effectiveness of the one-on-one sessions that I've been experiencing, because I've been a practicing holistic hypnosis practitioner for many, many years, and I integrate coaching and hypnosis, the efficacy of the techniques to help people free themselves from lots of um, inner obstacles and things that are slowing them down in life, and helping people attain higher levels of consciousness has been so rewarding that it just naturally became a desire to share this technology, this awareness, these tools with other people who, like me, would like to explore their own lives, inner lives, and also help others to discover theirs. So this is where I'm coming from in this approach.
Wonderful. And I can be a testimony for the depth and the
That's right. We did
incredible
hypnosis.
wisdom and incredible things that can come up, and also the personal understanding, the deepening of the understanding of not only myself, because it's limited to the notion of the human being as the self, but in general, the expansion, even though, as I don't come from a background of deep spiritual path for many, many years, and some terms and some things are still like, yeah, sounds cool. But they don't come so naturally. But nonetheless, there is a part of me that just nods and knows. And this for me is the reference. And
Mhm.
so I encourage everyone who also maybe listens to all of this with also a healthy skeptical part, which might be there, to embrace it as well, and to
Sure.
embrace it and to open up for the possibility of maybe I can explore more, or I can dive deeper into something that some parts might be curious about and some parts are just very skeptical about. So it's a brilliant journey, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, Anaconda, for giving us a glimpse into what awaits us, or everyone who is keen to embark on this journey.
Yeah. I'd
And
like to quote, sorry,
yeah,
I just
please
want
go
to,
ahead. I just wanted to ask for a nutshell or something that you want to give
yeah, well,
people.
I wanted to quote my my teacher Eli's description of the school that I joined then, his
Yeah.
school. And it says, I remember there's a sentence along the lines of something like, we don't we don't ask you to believe in magic. We foster your ability to experience it,
I
or
love
something like that.
it.
So it's not a matter of belief.
No.
We don't ask anybody to believe anything. We just ask people who are interested to be open to experience things that are really magical in their own lives, because life is magic.
Yeah.
We're just sometimes too dull to remember that.
Well, so let's encourage everyone to jump, no, and to explore for their own sake and for everyone else's and for humanity itself, maybe, whatever motivates you. So thank you for watching us, giving us some time, and maybe if you're curious, jump into one of our free introduction sessions, Q&A, or even already enroll in the school level 1. It's open for now, and we're happy to meet you all. So thank you and goodbye.